Here's a quick website audit for you. I'm going to stick to 3 themes. There's a lot of other things I want to talk about as well, but I'm going to stick to these 3, and then I'm going to focus on one of these pages that you have, okay? So I think in order to improve your website, and this is improving for like conversions or clarity and whatnot, really it's not about making it look pretty, but making it more functional, making it more user experience friendly, and streamlining any processes so that you or whoever's helping you, do the work or, work on this website can actually do less admin stuff and focus more on the work that you actually want to be doing, which is, helping people heal and working with your clients. So the first theme here I would talk about is kind of basic user experience branding / design principles. I think some of them were ignored, and I'm just going to point out a few here. First, I think, like, I've looked at all these different pages, and I would say it's pretty text heavy. And so I would definitely cut down on really big paragraphs like this, to make it more like inviting for somebody to read, right? Certain design things would, it's like, well, why is there this huge white space here, right? And why is the margin here so small? And like, there's little things like that. But on the larger front, it's definitely just making more inviting for people to stay on your page. You want to increase that stickiness. That's what we call it. So that's one. Secondly, I would say the type of font, like the typography that you're using, and also the sizing of it, could be looked at. So for example, when I'm looking at this, the image or the impression that it gives me is that it's really busy. So I see, here's one font, here's another, and then in this, there's not enough white space to invite me to read it. And then I'm seeing a lot of bolding, a lot of, italicize and bolding again. So like, it's just really busy here. And then here, it's another like sizing of it. So there's a little bit of an inconsistency there, and I'm not sure. It does grab the eye, like it grabs attention, which is great, but not in the way that I think you would want it. Okay. So definitely taking a look at all that. And then another point I would say is, when you set your logo, that's kind of the starting point, and everything else, all your other digital assets like your website, social media, and, whatever else that you have should be following this. Otherwise, there's kind of no, otherwise it's just really inconsistent. It's inconsistent branding. It's what it is. And then people get confused, right? So for example, in your logo, and I don't know if you're open to changing it or not, but you have this kind of near black color, you have this blue color, you have the logo of the star, and then you also have 2 font typographies, right? 2 sets. And so I don't really see this reflected on your website. So like, for example, I see one here, another one here, and another one here, typographies that's different. And it's just, it doesn't match. That's the thing, right? So in terms of like this blue color that you're using, I don't actually see it anywhere on your website. I see a lot of the gray that you use, and there might be some connotations to the color gray. But it would be really easy for you to incorporate that blue. Like this banner could be that blue, or like the buttons can be the blue, and so on and so forth. Okay. The second theme I would take note of is actually streamlining and automating any of the processes that you have. So this goes into like the funnel territory, right? And so what I would say is, for example, your contact form. And I know that you're sending them to here for, scheduling your discovery call, or, going into your programs and so on and so forth. But I would definitely advise on making your intake form, or showing your intake form, or making this into your intake form, or even depending on whatever workshop, event, or session or offerings that you have, creating different intake forms so that you're collecting all this information up front. So that you're already starting the vetting process. And so based on what they submit, you can kind of decide then and there, without spending too much of your time, if you want to talk to this person or not, right? In addition to that, if we are booking discovery calls here, why not also embed a free Calendly calendar maybe it can show up right after the form. Maybe it could be like right down here, so that you're not going back and forth with them, to like, oh, I don't know if you have a scheduling thing, but like if you are just looking, like manually looking at your schedule and then giving them the times and stuff like that, that could really cut down on that type of back and forth. Okay. And then another thing to do with the funnel is going back on your home page. This is the above the fold. So above the fold is on your home page before I scroll, really, or on any page before I scroll. This is above the fold. And this is the perfect space for you to put in a call to action. And so right now, I don't really see anything here except you're pointing them away from your website and onto your social media. So a couple of different things here that I would advise and suggest is one, really all your social media stuff should point them to your website, not the other way around, basically, right? You don't want them to be leaving here, because as you have it right now, your website is a digital business card. But what you really want it to be is a automated sales funnel that does the selling for you, so that you don't have to do as much work. So you can focus on doing the things that you actually want to be doing. So here, it could really be, create some sort of a button here. And usually it is not, buy this, buy that. Maybe it's a discovery call. Maybe it's a, here, opt into my newsletter. Usually it is this, but in exchange for a lead magnet, is what we call it. So something that that people would want, and they would, quote unquote, pay the price of giving you their email address to get. Okay. So definitely think about that and redo the section here. Okay. The third factor or third theme I would suggest is increasing your know, like, and trust factors. And so these are things that are like your social proof. So I know that you have testimonials. That's great. But let's, let's break this up. Let's have some more white text in between, so it's more inviting to the eye. Let's definitely add a picture of her. I've definitely seen on your client site or your client page that you have video testimonials, which is amazing because most people don't even have these, but it's only confined to this one page. So I would suggest that you kind of spread it out, because we don't know that people are going to come here to watch this stuff, right? So we want to distribute this social proof onto other things, especially on your home. Okay. In addition to that, definitely creating videos of yourself on at least these 3 pages, home, about, and offers. So you can talk about yourself here and your own story. You can talk about, you welcoming them onto your website and kind of pointing to them what you want them to do next. And then here, you talking about the different offers that you have and how they can take the first step to contacting you, right? And with that, I'm going to focus on one of the pages. Okay, so I'm going to focus on the most important page, which is your money page, right? So home page and money page, or like your buy purchase pages, those are basically your most important ones on any website. So, going back to the first theme that I said about, the UX principles and stuff like that, like this is too much bolding. It looks really busy. The different fonts, sizes even, and the different typography it's too busy for the eyes. We really want to make it a lot more simple than this. Okay, so other than that, I would say on each of your offerings, definitely include like an FAQ section, right? And include, maybe in your videos, you can include the process in which you take them on. Like, what is step 1? If they're interested, what do they do? And then step 2, what does your intake process look like? Step 3, once you start working together, like, what does that look like? And things like that, right? There's a lot of design things on this page I won't even talk about, but I would definitely lay it out differently to make it just like easier to digest. And that's really what we want to be doing with our website, right? Focusing on that user experience. And so I think the main thing here I want to say is I got really confused. So when I first looked at this, I'm like, offerings. Okay, cool. And then enroll. Okay, but didn't I just see the truth serum and not the breakthrough, but like why is there 2 of the same type of a thing? And so I went on both pages, and I feel like, so let me just click on this here, and I feel like it's a duplicate. Like I understand that, like I understand now that I thoroughly read it, that this is just information about it, and this is where I would go to actually pay for it. But then why does that need to be separated? I'm not quite understanding. And some of the information I think aren't on both pages, right? So let me take a quick. Okay, I thought I should be recording this part for you. So, okay, this is kind of how a like average person would kind of walk through your website, right? If they're trying to buy. So I clicked on Truth Serum, and then I also clicked on Truth Serum here, and basically I'm just comparing, like, what's the difference? Like, how do I do this thing, right? And I see that this quote unquote informational one is really your landing page, which is, you know, good. You have the elements in there that you should, right? You got your video testimonials. You talk about, you know, you're trying to get them to identify with the person, the avatar that you want to be helping. You talk about level 1, 2, 3, what's in it, and all this type of stuff, right? Great. I would definitely lay it out a little bit differently so that it's not so long and scrolly, but you know, you have the different elements in there that you need. Okay. And then once I go in here, it's really like just the buy page. So can this not be incorporated into this one here? Right. And then once I click on this, I just wanted to see what that buy process looks like. And it brings me to this thing, and I click on reserve your spot, and then it just said added. And I'm like, okay, I would have expected that it, you know, redirected me to like a payment page. And then I realized, oh, it's actually up here. But if I didn't even see this, like people may not, because it's so small. I like, do you see the 3 there? It's because I added it 3 times because I didn't know what was happening. Like, it didn't really, there wasn't enough feedback for me to know that. Oh, I added it twice, and I added this one earlier. So yeah, and I don't know what platform you're using to build this on. I think maybe it's Shopify, but I would definitely recommend doing it on, say, a WordPress, and then connecting it to some sort of like a payment system where you don't actually need to be like, because there's payment on your page, it doesn't necessarily need to be Shopify. And in fact, for the type of products that you are selling, like, I wouldn't recommend using Shopify for that. Shopify would be like more product based, and like every single day they're selling something, especially with the fee that you're paying them on a monthly. Okay, so yeah, that would be like the major thing that I would be working on here. So even for breakthrough therapy, which is this year only back to the 9th, I think it is, because I was trying to, get more information on that, and I'm still unclear what that is. So this is level 1. So yeah, there's just like basically the main issue here, the main concern here is it's the confusion. So what we want to do is make it so simple, so easy to understand that, like, you know, like my mom or like my grandma can go on here and easily find, hey, this is what I want to buy. Okay, cool. What's the process? 1, 2 step, easy. Let's get this done type of a thing. Because confusion will just make people bounce from your site. And that's not what we want to do. So for example, adding a description of what to do, that's already like kind of poor design, right? Like, it should be so obvious that when I look at this, I know exactly what I'm doing. Okay. And the confusion here also doesn't help with the know, like, trust factors. And really, once you get enough of those signals, right, for the know, like, trust, that's when people buy, right? And that comes with a lot of consistency, that comes with clarity, and that comes with like ease of use, which is why making sure that things are really simple, and that your branding is on point, and that it's consistent, and that, you know, I'm just seeing really just like repetition of things, that is what signals that know, like, trust. So there you have it. I have a lot more ideas on what you can do to kind of like beef up all the other pages as well. But I think with these 3 central themes that I've talked about, and really just fixing up like those pages to get more clarity, or like to give more clarity, I think that would be a really good start.